Let's start. This is KAFFEEKLATSCH. Is that close, Hilgard? We'll call it close. Which is German for coffee club or coffee meeting, coffee break. That's what we're doing today. And we're doing it in German, so we'll all say Guten Morgen to each other. And we'll get started. This is obviously, you saw the invitation. We are talking potato pancakes, KARTOFFEL, that are served by the Rotary Club of New Braunfels at Wurstfest. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Like I said earlier, new products being introduced today, the potato pancakes that no one's had about, at Rotary ever that I can think of. So why don't you tell us about, let's start out with the history. How did a Rotary Club end up making potato pancakes at Wurstfest?
Well, as you might remember, for years and years, we had a booth on the corner and we sold sausage on a stick and sauerkraut. And the Bracken Volunteer Fire Department were in the center of the market plots and always did the potato pancakes. But because of some change in funding, they were no longer needing and getting older by all means to do a fundraiser, and so the booth became available. One of our past presidents, Randy Haw, brought the idea to the Rotary Club, and we mulled it over for some time and decided to take the plunge. And in 2007, the New Braunfels Rotary Club started producing the world famous potato pancakes.
So after mulling it over, you found the idea of making potato pancakes very appealing.
Appealing.
There were a lot of, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
See what I did there? Wes, where are you?
Always
Okay,
a pun.
please proceed.
Always a pun. So, and we kind of evolved from there. We started in 2007, found out that it was a project we could do well. In 2011, we undertook a huge renovation. And here we are today under a new renovation.
2019 took another renovation, right?
Right.
Not by choice. But that, sidebar, Justin, I think you're involved in that. The rebuilding at Wurstfest is pretty complete.
Oh, yeah.
And the clubs or nonprofit organizations or businesses are now putting all their stuff in. That's
right.
the level we are over
Some
there.
of them actually already have their stuff in. We're in the process of getting ours in now. So.
Cool.
And it's going to be a wonderful location, a wonderful place for us to produce these potato pancakes.
Everyone's here to see you produce potato pancakes, so maybe give us the lowdown, and while you're doing that, we can talk a little more about all this, but I think people want to hear about it.
So first of all, of course, when you make a potato pancake, in Rotary's eyes, in our club's eyes, you have to have a beer, because everything works. When you work together, a beer is always a component. So Justin, if you want to pour those, you take your finely shredded potatoes and you put them in water, because of course they'll turn brown, and you want to drain them. Just pour it all in there.
How many pounds of potatoes in a year while Justin's doing that does our club go through? I'm in the same club as him.
Our club of 4 tons of potatoes.
4 tons of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a significant amount. So putting water on them keeps them from getting brown.
Can get right from being brown, and then you're going to drain them really well, which this takes a little bit more time, but for television we'll do it a little bit quicker. See? Okay, so you're going to drain them well, and you're going to add them to your bowl. It's a very simple recipe. To that, you're going to add some onion, dried onion, and half a cup of flour, and this is for a 1 pounder.
1 pound of shredded potatoes?
Mhm.
Okay.
2 eggs, salt.
Is that the way you do it?
Yeah, that'll work just fine.
Okay.
By the way, one of our gurus could not be here with us. He is suffering with some back issues, Fred Willard. He is the mixer extraordinaire of our potato pancakes, so we wish him well.
I heard that one time a different Rotarian signed up to be mixer, and that person disappeared, right? They haven't seen them since?
It's probably between
Missing
the
in action.
mattresses. Yeah. Fred keeps everything between the mattresses.
Okay, so that's
Signs, anything.
That's where the person.
So we're gonna add a little salt
Historic.
to taste, and then We have a secret ingredient. Everybody has to have a secret ingredient that we're going to add to our,
We can't really show you
They are.
what it is.
It's meth.
and then you mix it up. And so as you're mixing, you get it very evenly distributed. And it is best, as with all recipes, that you mix it and let it come together because you got a little flour in there. So you want to let it come together. For those of you that are gluten-free, I see Gretchen on this morning. You can use the the almond flour, gluten-free flour works just fine. Might have to adjust the amount a little bit. So when you mix it up, you get a product that looks very much like this. And you're going to take, of course, every Rotarian knows, a level scoop of product, and you're going to put it into your oil, and mine is plenty hot.
And if you use too much, Kathy will come by and you get in trouble.
So the key to making a good potato pancake is the chopping action. Use both hands. You're going to chop the potato all the way thin because it has to be crispy on the edges, right, Hildegard? If it's not crispy, we're not doing our job right. It takes about 4.5 to 5 minutes to cook a potato pancake. And so you have to resist, as I told Nathan, you have to resist wanting to turn it over.
I want to turn it over so bad right now.
You want to make sure that it's swimming in the oil. That way we can move it on our griddles, we can move it down. But always chopping the whole time.
Justin, one time I was cooking potato pancakes. This is one of the greatest moments in my life. There's like being born, getting married, birthing my kid, and then Kathy Mirren coming by and going, good product. And I went, oh man, my life is complete now.
I get in a lot of trouble for
A lot
coaching.
of things.
Well, a lot of things,
I
but
got a good
coaching
product, though. I'm
especially.
so proud of that.
I hear words like, you gotta tell them to put more oil on the grill. More oil or we're gonna burn them. Why are we doing this?
Wow, that's pretty good Kathy imitation.
And if your oil is too hot, don't fret. You just add a little more oil, brings the temperature down.
Justin, how many potato pancakes do we sell in a year?
Roughly, I would guess somewhere around 32,000
Wow.
in 10 days.
And that's a good thing. There's a diet food though, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Eat a lot of these.
So
Won't
while,
hurt cholesterol issues, nothing.
Yeah.
so while they were talking, we were flipping the potato. We always use two spatulas. Yeah, well, what else is new? But this way you can turn the potato and slide it off of the we call them flippers, spatula, so that you don't have that grease everywhere.
Now, what did you just do? Because I think that's a new technique that you learned during COVID.
No, it's not a new technique. It's just that y'all don't listen very well.
What you do?
Some kind of new technique.
And when you turn your potato and then you let it slide off the back,
Oh, wow.
you see there's no grease flying around everywhere.
There's a lot of Rotarians on this Zoom, and none of us have seen that technique.
Oh.
Y'all need to back me up. That is a COVID technique that she
Well,
has learned.
Now you know a secret technique.
If we flip like this, how are we gonna make the floor slippery though?
Yeah.
If we don't splash grease?
Well,
So, okay, so if 31,000 are
30.
sold,
Roughly.
the money, it's a significant amount of money, I would assume.
over $100,000.
Where does that go? And and maybe talk about, Rotary Club of New Braunfels and dispersing those funds, but also just Worst Fest in general. I think a lot of people don't realize there's clubs like ours that make up the majority of those booths. So maybe talk about the good it does to the community.
Yeah, well, what we do is we take these funds that we raise, obviously you're gonna take and pay off all your expenses, and what's left we put into a fundraising account. And so we've had the opportunity to do a lot of really cool projects throughout the community. It has also helped kind of, I think, spur on the Hill Country Craft Beer Festival, putting a plug in for that. April 17th is coming right up. And so we've been able to partner with other entities to do a various number of things. And so it's really helped our fundraising efforts because we keep selling more of these and we have more and more money every year to give back to the community. So,
And a lot of the booths at Worst Fest are similarly done.
oh, absolutely.
Thinking about, communities and schools, the vast majority, I believe, are nonprofits.
Correct.
Yes.
Out there.
I would
We were
say
doing-
Worst Fest, you know, in general, you know, really is about the community. It's bringing people out to fellowship, have fun, but it's also a major fundraising source. I know it is for us. That generates a year's worth of fundraising and partnerships with the community that we're able to participate in.
And that's kind of the roots of Worst Fest, were a community celebration for sausage put on by Ed Briss and talking about the people that make sausage. And so I think it's kind of a cool tradition that's been carried on over the years, for sure.
Well, and it, you know, in the whole scheme of things, in community, I always think that someone told me one time, to those to whom much has been given, much is expected. And that's kind of epitomizes the New Braunfels volunteers, you know, the Rotary, the volunteer capital of the world. So we're going to give back to our community. We're going to make things better for them. And this is our way of raising those funds. And we so much appreciate everyone's coming out to buy our potato pancakes so that we can continue to do this good work.
I mean, it's almost as if eating a lot of food like this and drinking a lot of beer is a responsibility to our community.
Oh, yeah.
It's the right thing to do to support
Exactly,
people in the community.
exactly.
One thing I think that's important that we recognize, because there's a lot of members that are on the Zoom that are in our club, but I know this is probably the same for others, is the folks that put in the hours to actually make this happen in our organization. You know, I see Sandy Payson, Ron Reeves, Ian Perez, Tracy Norris, Gretchen Pruitt, Helgard, a lot of others that come out and they spend a lot of time in our booth just to make this happen. And it's not easy. It's hot, it's greasy, there's risk involved, but they do it with a good heart and good smile, and they make it a lot of fun.
Because of dedication to the community. And I was gonna ask you guys, if you would, maybe just kind of walk through the steps one more time, then we're gonna send out, we have the recipe, minus the secret ingredient, that'll be sent out to everyone. But maybe kind of, for people who weren't on or you weren't able to see it, maybe kind of go through the process once more, if you don't
Let me
mind.
pay attention to this so I can see if it's,
I can flip it for you like 12 times.
I will let you do it.
Make sure you use the right thing.
I'm scared of it.
So you're gonna take your shredded potatoes, it's really, really easy to do in your Cuisinart or your food processor. Put some water on them, let them soak, and then of course you're going to drain them, like Justin showed to drain. Put them into your mixing bowl and add your seasonings, your egg, your flour as your binder, and your egg, and stir them up. And again, these are beautiful yellow because they got those Fred Willard Yard eggs in here. So if you let it sit, it's gonna get a little juice, and that's, you want it to have a little bit of, and you can add some, you can flip that.
Yeah, let's
If
watch
I'll
this.
let him.
I'm gonna do it right away.
And then there's your product. Oh, perfect.
Oh, no, I messed up a little bit.
Come on,
I got it, I got it, I got it.
So when your oil is kind of hot, which it can get, this one is near perfect. That is a beautiful outside edge.
Isn't this the one I cooked before we got started?
Right, you sure did.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
And so then, as your potato pancake comes out, you can put your favorite toppings, cinnamon, of course, powdered sugar, or the world-class favorite with applesauce. We probably do 90% applesauce to anything else. And of course, you can have it with your little bit of wurst with it. You get 2 of those per order, and that's really a full meal.
Talk about some things that Rotary does in town, like, you know, our Rotary Club, you know, what do we do? What's the point of Rotary?
Rotary is a service organization.
And our
And
motto is service above self.
we believe in providing service. Some of our things we contribute to, our beer festival is going to contribute to the Advocates,
Pink Warrior Advocates.
right? Which is a breast cancer affiliation. We're also Habitat for Humanity, very involved in so many programs in town, you know, CASA, and we just had a group come back from Mexico who delivered 360 wheelchairs, took them down to Mexico, put them together, handed them out to folks. Those are really things that I think strike the heart. We had a group that, we have an exciting new, Rick, I'm gonna take his thunder today. We have an exciting new program that we're involved with. A group went to Louisiana and helped work after the hurricanes down there. And we met a gentleman from Louisiana that is in charge of Rotary Disaster Aid USA. We worked with them, found that it was probably a good thing for us. We don't have a disaster aid group in our area, but I am happy to report we do now. So Disaster Aid USA is part of the New Braunfels Rotary Club, and we will be ready to go out and help not only our other organizations in New Braunfels, but to go help our neighbors.
Right, in other states, and here, there, everywhere.
Right. Anywhere we can load up and go, we can go and help our neighbors.
Justin, what do you love most about serving your community? 'Cause you do a lot of things. Mayor Pro Tem, Rotary, a million other things.
It's just the blessing that you get from being with other people that are like-minded. It's the blessings that you get from seeing someone's lives changed. It's the blessing you get that when you show up on a scene to help people out, you see this sense of relief that overcomes a person, that really validates why you do what you do. You see, like you were talking about the Pink Angels, and I'm gonna get the name wrong, but last year we partnered with Sally Kingsbury Foundation, and you see what they're able to do when we partner together, and that makes you feel very, very warm inside when you see them be successful. You know, you had this little bitty part of someone else's success. I think that's what it does for me. I love the opportunity of driving around town and seeing somebody else reap the benefits of their efforts and knowing that maybe I had this much of a part in that. And because of, whatever that involvement is, there's just lives changed. And so it makes a difference on a daily basis. I know it does in my life.
What was your phrase for our town? Volunteer capital
Of the world.
of the world? And I think that that's true. I've lived many places. My dad was a preacher, so he moved all the time when I was a kid. But when I came here, it's the first time I realized that, man, people, they come back here or stay here. I mean, most of my life was way north Texas in a town where people couldn't wait to get out. People come back here. They're generation. People tell me, oh yeah, I was gonna get out of here, and here I am back. And they love it here. And I feel the same way. People take ownership in their town. And so like what you said, Justin, is this is not just potato pancakes. This is a way to serve our community. Not only great food, but to serve our community and be able to do things like you've said, both of you have said, that change our community for the better.
Well, and I think it's interesting, even being here in Honors Hall, success breeds success, right? I met a guy last night out to dinner, moved here from Massachusetts, however you say that. Said he had 6 places. He toured 6 places across the southern U.S. And he said the people are what made him want to move here. He's been here for 2 months and just kept talking about the people. And it makes a difference. And it's not because of what we're doing right here today. It's because of the hundreds of people that are on these walls that had vision and they had success, and that generated more success. And then I saw it. And I wanted to be a part of that. And so I think that's one thing our community does extremely, extremely well. We've had over the last 6 or 8 years, great momentum moving into the future. COVID put the brakes on that just a little bit, but I'm excited that now we're ready to get back to that.
Yeah.
And continue what we were doing.
It's success, but also volunteerism and caring about the community. I think the success you're talking about is sure this is Chamber of Commerce, so we want to be successful in business, but we can't be successful in business without being successful as people and as a community.
Oh yeah.
And so there's 2 pieces of it. I feel like the Chamber is an important piece of that you bring people together who do care about the community, who will come out on Thursday morning and make potato pancakes for us in Lederhosen and Durndal. But you care, and that's why you're here.
Right, and we also learned. We had great teachers. He talks about the people on the walls in this room. We had great teachers who taught us that it is the right thing to do to give back. And Justin, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about people. when I tell people I'm from New Braunfels, when we do Rotary work with youth exchange and stuff all over the world, people will say, you have such a welcoming community. I can't wait to go back to Wurstfest, or I can't wait to go back to the river, because it is such a welcoming place to be. And who wouldn't want to call that home?
No way. And I would say welcoming and delicious, you know.
We do have good food to eat, don't we?
And we have good coffee. I would be remiss if I didn't thank On the Grind. Megan Daigle's on here somewhere. Thank you for sponsoring today. Again, people who are taking ownership of the community and wanting to better it. So thank you to On the Grind for giving us a sponsorship today. Can we try that?
Yes.
You all are going to be very jealous. You have to wait until November for this. The rest of us, we will try it, and then we'll say.
Can you use your fingers? Got a napkin?
I think it's hot.
It's hot. Do you want applesauce? You want
Woo!
you want?
Is it fresh?
Grab that cold beer.
I think it's fresh.
Nice and hot. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Somebody roll out the barrel.
That's really delicious.
Oh, it's crispy.
I would say you shredded this, huh?
It's the shredding.
Don't you wash this though before you put it in, like in the washing machine or
You know,
something?
that's an interesting thing. Bracken Volunteer Fire Department retrofitted some washing machines, and that is how they spun out the water from the potatoes, because they shredded those potatoes.
By hand,
By
honestly.
hand,
Wow.
yes.
That's impressive.
So you're saying this is really kind of a homemade process. You've got homemade clean potatoes, you've got Fred's chicken eggs from the backyard,
Mhm.
and whatever else you have.
Hey Kathy,
Yes.
I can testify to what you just said because my grandparents, especially my grandmother, was the one that was stuffing those potatoes in that wash machine and putting it on the spin cycle to get the excess starch out of there many years ago.
When we talked with them, they were telling us that, and we said, we have to do something different. Rotarians, we don't have time to do that.
Labor intensive.
We found a way to have our potatoes processed for us. They come to us cryovac, and then we do actual mixing and take it through there.
Do we have time for questions?
Yeah, does anybody have questions about this whole process?
Oh, I need to cook.
Oh, well, ask questions if you've got questions. Otherwise, Kathy's got some more to say. Anybody? Go ahead, Kathy.
I just want to remind everybody that it's our plug for our museum. The Gluten Appetit Cookbook on page 70 is this recipe. And this is the recipe that we took, altered it a bit, because we don't live in the 1800s anymore. Our palates have changed. And but you can follow this recipe and come up with the same product that
Did
we
you
did
say where to get
today
that book?
at the museum,
Sophienberg?
Sophienberg.
Guten Appetit. Any questions out there in the crowd? If not,
Well, we need to verify that we did good by Ms. Helgard.
oh, Helgard, how do we do?
We need an opinion.
You all did really well. Kathy, who was president in 2007?
Well, I don't, was it Barron?
No, it was me.
Oh, there you go.
I almost died when Randy came and I thought, no, we will not do that. That's too difficult. I like the sausage.
That's what Kathy said too, but nobody listened to me. So here we are.
Well, and you talk about,
I'm glad we did it.
involvement in the community. Helgard, when she was president, is the reason that we had a van that takes veterans to and from the Veterans Hospital, the VA. And that was a project that was Helgard's.
Good job, Helgard.
Yeah, Rotary made a donation, so did the Downtown Rotary Club, Wurstfest, and the Veterans Club. We bought the bus to take the veterans to the Veterans Hospital in San Antonio, free of charge.
So Helgard, you were president in when? 6 and 7 or 5 and 6?
7 to 8.
7 to 8, okay.
So we've been doing these, Rotary Club New Braunfels been doing these a long, long time. And look at the good that's come out of it. And that's the point of this, is it's delicious, but also it's service above self. Any more questions out there?
Can I?
Hey, I have a question for you. Oh, I'm sorry, Helgar, go ahead.
Go ahead, Helgard.
Yeah, some other thing. Rotary, then #1 project is to eradicate polio And this is worldwide. So we do a lot of good and support the community, but a lot of our money goes to the polio. And there are only 2 countries in the whole world, Pakistan and Afghanistan, that have polio. All the others are polio free. And that is a lot mainly from Rotary.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we do donations or the work worldwide and not just locally.
Thank you, Hilbert. Joyce, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to just ask if anyone that's on is interested in coming to a meeting or joining Rotary, how would they go about doing that?
So go ahead. What are you guys joining Rotary? You get
So
come to a meeting?
come to a meeting, see what we're all about. Talk with us, visit with us. We meet on Wednesdays at noon at the Knights of Columbus Hall. And if you're interested in a little service above self, we'd be happy to have you.
And it'd be great if you came and joined before November,
Yeah.
before the first Friday of November.
So that you can help us put out these wonderful potato
And we start
pancakes.
working out in October like this. Just air turning is what we do in October to get ready.
But what'll be great is we'll have that brand new facility and it is going to be state of the art, folks, for us to work out of. We're just so excited and can't wait to get the doors open and serving up our potato pancakes.
Any other questions?
Nathan,
Yes, Joe.
I used to flip those potato pancakes for Bracken
Oh, yeah?
before the Rotary took over.
Oh, wonderful.
Did you ever get a good product from Kathy like I did?
No, but we drank a lot of beer.
The beer, this is #1 component, right? Gotta have the beer.
Well, thank you all for being here.
You're quite welcome.
And then we'll send that recipe out. And thank you all for being here. We will say Auf Wiedersehen to all of you. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk to you next time. Our next meeting is April 15th on tax day, so we'll be sad. We'll try to have a good time anyway. See you guys next time. Have a great day.
Prost.
Prost.
Prost.